This conference will now be recorded.
So you are entering into the concept of CDN, which is nothing but the content delivery network. As you discussed earlier, which routing policies is going to be used by this one? Which
Samuk,
routing?
sorry, I have one question. So yesterday we were discussing the edge location and the
Uh, mm,
location site. So edge locations means like all the locations are locations, but whenever we are reaching from, for example, if I am reaching from Tamil Nadu or somewhere, so what is the nearest location that is called as edge location, or like how we can consider that
yes,
edge
yes,
location?
yes, yes, yes. That is the near edge location.
Okay, so nearest
So
location wherever we
basically,
reach in the data center is there.
wherever this cloud front or CDN servers are going to be hosted. Ideally, AWS does not going to consisting of the edge location. They will going to take the rent in the nearest edge location, nearest data centers. In
Mhm.
Bangalore, they have taken some data center as rent. For example, Rackspace they have taken. Similarly, they taken the in Hyderabad they taken as controllers as a global edge location, actually one of the edge location. And 5 data centers are in one of the edge location for the AWS. They are not going to build complete data center. They will take the rent actually, right? They will take the rent. So few of the and then they hosted the respective and then they hosted the respective content over there, CDN servers over there. But whereas in the Mumbai data centers, AP South 1A, AP South 1B, there are belongs to the AWS, right? That's how it works. So that's how it's going to be. So which is going to be there. The secondly, so now, yeah, let's discuss about the right the one of the main important how to configure the CDN. Right, let's configure with the CDN here. How to configure the CDN? How it going to be works? Mm, so just give me a second. Using that phone, actually the one which is previously as given by someone. I think someone has given that. So now, what is the 3 steps are there in the cloud front? You have the 3 steps are there in the cloud front actually. So one is with the source, and second one is with the distributive settings, and third one is for the cache settings, right? Cache settings, right? So now, how it's going to work? We'll see. So now here we'll create a one of the see there are so many ways these people are going to be used with regards to the CDN. So either they can take the input from the respective, either they can take the input from the respective EC2 instances, or either they can take the respective ALB, or they either they're going to take the respective application load balancers, right, or the S3 bucket, right. whatever the input they want, they can take it. They can use this respective CDN to enable their respective content in the global edge location here. So now here we'll see how it's going to be configured. So now I'm going to take the input as an EC2 instances, and also I'm going to showcase the input of the S3 bucket. Similarly, ALB also is going to be there, the same uh, manner actually. We'll see how it works. So now here, so create a crowd fund distribution here. So this is the origin you need to use. So here it has given the right route 53 or elastic load balancer here. Here it has given the route 53 or elastic load balancer. So here you can choose any of this actually, right? Any of this. So here you have three things, right? Three steps to configure it, right? Three steps to configure it. So the first step here you have it the origin. So origin is nothing but the source, right? Origin is nothing but the source actually. Either you can go with the ELB or either you can go with the right EC2 instances or either you can go with the respective right. So now this is how it's going to happen here. So now let's create a I think you already have this elastic load balancer, right? So go for the respective elastic load balancer and take the input here. Okay, this is working for this. Let's take this one as an input. So this is the source that you guys need to use it, right? This is the source that you guys need to use it for your cloud front. So now here, how to open the developer tools? How to open the developer tools? How to open the developer tools here? What is the command to open the developer tools? Pramod, Jiva, Mangesh. So to open this respective developer tools, you need to use the F12 action. So this is the control U, control C, control V. So this is the developer tools. So now if I go with this respective one, so this is not reaching to the help of. So if I go with the response, if I go with the respective response here, so it is reaching to the directly the host from the respective load balancer. So now here, this is not reaching from the cloud front. This is reaching from the respective load balancer here. This is reaching from the respective load balancer here. So that's how it's going to happen. So this is reaching from the respective load balancer. That's how it's going to happen. And the second main important thing that you guys need to understand here is now how to make this host entry, how to make this respective source should call from the cloud front, right? So now here, what I'm going to do is here I'm going to take the input as an elastic load balancer I have taken. This is the HTTP. You are not using HTTPS, right? So you should use the HTTPS in your real-time environment. You are not using that. One thing you need to change it. And secondly, this is your respective origin path, right? This is your respective origin path. So by default, what is the document root? Default document root for your respective Apache. By default, what is the default document root for your respective Apache? What is your default document root for your respective Apache? So Apache has a default document root as var www.html, right? Apache has a default document root as var www.html. So if you want, right, if you want to enable the respective Apache, if you want to enable the respective Apache here, right, if you want to enable the respective Apache in the customized part like /opt or /opt/Apache or /home/easy2-user, right, if you want to use it, then you need to choose the respective customized path. Then you need to choose the respective customized path here. Then you need to choose the respective customized path here. This is the path is optional. So if you have any kind of customized path like /opt/Apache, so where your content need to serve from the respective cloud front, right? Then you need to choose this respective path. This is going to be provided by your developer as an input. So this is the developer job. So which origin path you need to serve, that you need to check with the developer and give the input here, right? And give the input here. So this is how it's going to happen. Right? This is how it's going to happen here. So now here, so now here, you don't have any kind of customized path, and you have unchecked this one. So you should enable your, if you have any kind of headers, suppose user equal to Tom, right? Any kind of headers where developer need to ask you, right? Where developer is asking you to enable the respective CloudFront as an origin with the specific headers, right? You need to configure those things, right? You need to configure those things, right? So now here, this is enabling the shield, origin shield, to ensure the high availability for your respective CloudFront service, right? It's going to be help you to provide the additional cache layer, which help us to reduce the load on your respective source and also protect from your respective availability of your source. This is one thing that you guys need to notice, right? This is one thing that you guys need to notice. So for the respective high availability, So now here you have an additional settings. Again, this need to be provided by your developer. Connection times, connection timeout, response timeout, and keep alive time. Right, response timeout and the keep alive time. So this connect, how many connection items you have? 3 connection items you have, and the timeout is going to be, it will try with 10 iterations. Suppose it is not going to be passed with respect to iterations, then it's going to be connection timeout. Throw the value of connection timeout. So response timeout only applicable to custom rights, custom origins. For your response, if within the 30 seconds it's going to get the response from your respective API or the CloudFront origin, right? And the connections is going to be right alive for the 5 seconds. This is depends upon your, right? This is depending upon your, who need to update this? Dev team need to update this, right? This is not your job to take your own decisions as an AWS admin, because you are not writing the code. You don't know the functionality of the API. You have not enabled the configuration properties for your API. This is completely end-to-end developer configuration management actually. This few of the things which is there in the CloudFront. You need to sit with your developer, take the inputs of your developer, and then you need to configure the CloudFront as a cache service, right? Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? That is one main important thing that you guys need to understand here, right? So now default cache behavior. This is completely going to be, this part is completely going to be your developer default cache behavior, right? So generally they will go with get, head, and options, right? Whatever the options they want, they can enable here. So restrict the viewer access, no, as of now. So this is completely your developer to developer space here. So now here, this is only the part where you can chime in, whether you want all the edge locations or whether you want only for the US as well as UK or Middle East or Africa or the Europe, based upon your accessibility of your respective application, right? Based upon accessibility of your respective application. See, coming to this respective ACL, the web access firewall, like ACL, the web access firewall, those things will going to be, right? Those things will going to be taken care by your respective application security team. Actually, this will going to be discussed in the next VPC section, the web access firewall, how this web access firewall is going to be, right, created here, right? So now here the logging type. So if you want to push your login to the specific S3 bucket, you can choose it, the specific S3 bucket, take any kind of S3 bucket, so that the CloudFront logs is going to be stored, so that if any, right, so that if any troubleshooting perspective if you want to enable, so that if any troubleshooting purpose perspective you want to enable, you can enable this. So you can use this respective CloudFront. Right, for your respective logins, all kind of logins for your respective logins. So this is one main important thing here. So now the create distribution. Okay, I think this account got need to be verified once again. So they have not verification. They have not called you. Okay, okay. So any other account, guys? Any other account? So any other help? Any other account? Even I have forgot to create the account actually. Can anyone share the one-on-one who already has created few resources? Jiva, Pramod, anyone, any one of you?
Shanmugh, I got an email like you used more than the this month quota. So is it fine?
Those
Shall I
things
share?
are done. Those things you can ignore.
Okay, so I'll share my one.
Share me on one actually.
Pinged.
Okay. In this, anything you have, so we to say, so have you configured any kind of Apache servers?
I think so, but recently,
Okay, or else let me create.
yeah, forgot actually because long back we.
So now here the same procedure. So you can take the input of your respective DNS of your DNS of your respective EC2 instances. Now you can take the same input actually. So previously you have taken the input as your respective load balancer. Now you can take the input of your respective, right? Now you can take the input of your respective EC2 instances DNS. So now here the same format that you guys need to use here. The same format you guys need to use. Go for the services, go for the cloud front. But the input wise, you need to take this respective DNS EC2 instances actually. So this is the input that you guys need to take care here, right? For the respect to enablement of the CloudFront, the same thing. Get options here. Go for the options here. Here, whether you want complete location, complete all edge location, it will take huge time to distribute your respective content across your CloudFront cache service, right? Across your CloudFront cache service. So now, on the benefit of the time, you are using only the North America and the Europe. But in the real-time environment, based upon your application functionality, whether your application has reaching to the global or whether your application has been reaching to the specific locations of the world, that one thing you guys need to take in care. That is one thing you guys need to take in care here. And secondly, so the login wise, you can choose your respective S3 bucket for your troubleshoot. This is with the CloudFront. Enable the versioning. So create a distribution here. So this will take at least 15 minutes of time to create your respective distribution here, because it will share your content across all the edge location. Now this is your respective CloudFront distribution DNS here. Now how to map this one to my website? Now how to map this one to this website action? How to map, guys? What is the way to map this respective CloudFront distribution to your respective website? CNAME record actually. So now if I'm using the respective my domain here, if you're using my respective domain here, so now here, if I'm going to be using this respective domain, www dot, in our example, kpostro.live.in should going to be pointing to the right elastic load balancer, should going to be pointed to the elastic load balancer here, which is nothing but ELB, right? Which is nothing but CNAME record of, right? CNAME record of ALB, right? CNAME record of ALB. CNAME record of ALB here. CNAME record of ALB here. So now here, similarly, you guys need to point it to the DNS for if your guys are using, you guys need to provide the this DNS of the DNS of the CloudFront as a CNAME record. DNS of the CloudFront as a CNAME record. As a CNAME record of DNS of the CloudFront. So the end user is not going to hit actual source actually. The end user was not going to be hit actual source. Whenever the end user want to try to hitting this end user want to try to hitting to this respective www.kpastro like.in, it is going to be this is going to be this is going to be enabled in the this is going to be enabled in the then hitting to the load balancer, they will hit to the CloudFront cache servers actually when you're going to point at this respective CNAME record. Now if you observe that if you observe that Amazon.in, if you open this respective developer tools here, if I'm clicking this respective image, if I'm going to using this respective image, see where is this images are coming from? The cache servers, the images are coming from the cache servers actually. Why? Because to see what is complete this website contained, the size will be very high. Hit from the CloudFront. If you observe that, hit from the CloudFront. That means this specific image is not hitting to the actual source of ELB. This is hitting to the source of the CloudFront. This is hitting to the source of the CloudFront. This is how it works. So similarly, now if you are hitting this respective CloudFront, so now if you are hitting this respective CloudFront here, go for the services, go for the CloudFront. So now here, if you're going to enable this respective source from your respective developer page, it will take the input. Authority is this one. The CloudFront is the taking the respective input, and the cache is controlling here. You are enabled. You have hit from the CloudFront. So now here, if your guys are going to be enabling the same thing for this normal basic EC2 instances, this is not hit from the respective CloudFront. It is not. It is the hit from your respective host, which is on settled down on the Mumbai location. But this hit is from the respective CloudFront here. It got cached, right? This got cached here. Avinash, if you observe that it's having the SSL certificate here. If you observe that it will have the SSL certificate when you guys are using the CloudFront here, right? Which is provided by the respective CloudFront guys. This is the wildcard certificate. This is the wildcard certificate. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts here? Right. This is how you guys are going to be use the CloudFront for your cache services. Right, cache services.
Could you just repeat? I didn't get what's the difference basically when we directly hit from the EC2 or CloudFront. So I didn't get the exact workflow.
So listen carefully. So now here, if you observe that in my developer console, where is the hit is coming from? This is my CloudFront here. Where is the hit is coming from?
CloudFront.
Where is the hit is coming from here?
This is from CloudFront.
This is from CloudFront. What do you mean by CloudFront here? It will hit to the nearest edge location, right? It got cached here. If you observe that, hit from the CloudFront. So it is hitting from the nearest cache location. That means nearest global edge location it is hitting, right? So you have a global edge location where all the CloudFront servers are going to be hosted over there. You have enabled the CloudFront for your respective application. You have enabled your respective CloudFront for your respective application. So which is got cached, right? Which is got cached here. So now the hit is coming from one of the global edge locations from the CloudFront cache service, right? From the CloudFront cache service here. So now here, this is hitting from the CloudFront here. If I'm going to hit with the normal EC2 instance, where is the normal EC2 instance got located? By default, Mumbai. So even though the customer is sitting at US, he want to hit my application via this IP address where he need to reach. He need to reach up to my Mumbai actually, where it getting the huge latency. Where it getting the huge latency here. Where it getting the huge latency here. So now here to avoid that latency, I have configured the CloudFront as taken as a source of EC2 instances. As a taken as a source of EC2 instances here, right? Now, once I enable the cache service, I have using the CloudFront DNS here and checking where is my hit is coming from, and the hit is from CloudFront. This is hitting the nearest edge location. This is hitting the nearest edge location here. This is hitting the nearest edge location here. Right? Am I clear on this?
So this always copies, right, from the first interaction, what I'll be doing with my
It's like a cached action. Cached from nearest edge location here. Similarly, if you observe that your Amazon pages, this respective hits are coming from, this images hits are coming from, where this images are hits are coming from. These hits are coming from the CloudFront. They have stored the respective images on the CloudFront. They stored the respective images on the CloudFront. Due to which, once they have stored these respective images on the CloudFront, right, they are easy to able to buffer the respective website. Because if I store in the EC2 instance or over the respective S3 bucket, if I'm not cached, right, if I'm not cached here, right, if I'm not cached here, then it will take huge time to buffer my load my respective website. Now I have been cached. Now I have been cached. So due to that reason, I can able to browse my website. So the source is hitting from my CloudFront here, not from the exact EC2 instances. Am I clear on this? So how to enable this procedure? Like the guys showcased, right? This is the what you guys need to do. Am I clear, Bonu, on this?
yes, clear.
So now similarly, there are few images where your developer is calling from the respective S3 bucket and you need to cache it. Right? There are few images where your developer need to call from the CloudFront. What do you guys need to do? You need to upload the images actually in the S3 bucket and make that source to the CloudFront. For example, I'm downloading few of the images here. Let me download a few of the images. Let's consider this is one of the image. I want to download this one. So I've been downloading the pen as my pen HD image. Right, I downloaded it. Let's consider he want to call this respective image like the way these people are calling here from the cloud. So now how to do this? Now here you guys need to store this respective S3 bucket. This image is into the S3 bucket. Add a file here. Right, add a files here. So now here you need to take this input as an right. These things you need to take your respective source as an input here. So now here this source you need to take this S3 URL you need to take as an input to your respective S3 bucket. So create a distribution here. Source you need to take the S3 as an input here. Now you guys need to take the source as an input here. S3 bucket I have taken the source as an input. So now here allow all the accesses for your respective S3 bucket. So now here whatever the images are there in the respective this S3 bucket are going to be cached like the way Amazon has been doing right now. What these people are going to do? They're going to upload all these 4K images into the S3 bucket and they're going to enable the cache services over there. Right? And they're going to be enable the cache over there. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? Right? Similarly, you need to enable the all the images and all the videos to cache your respective for your streaming applications. Now here the developer is going to be call the source from this distribution domain, right? From this respective DNS.
How that how that location the images has to go to the particular location with this image has to go and sit there only, like that will be taken care of developer, right?
Developer only. Your job is to create a source for your respective S3 bucket over the cloud, right? You guys need to aware of how to enable the CloudFront, and the calling it should be taken care by your respective developer only, because API functionality you are not writing, right? And API calling of the respective images you are not taking care of, isn't it? So that is one thing. That's how it works. So now here, you need to take the functionality of the respective. You have reducing the size actually, right? You are reducing the size actually. While enabling this one, you have reducing the size actually, and you have increasing the performance of your respective application. You are increasing the performance of the respective application. You are increasing the performance of the respective application. Getting what I'm trying to say? You are increasing the performance of the respective application. Getting what I'm trying to say here? How to enable the cache? How to what is the purpose of this? Right? How the others are doing the CloudFront? in what way these people are utilizing the CloudFront, right? Am I clear on this, every one of you? So whenever a developer is asked you, have you worked on this respective CloudFront? Yes. In what way? So this is in what way all the images are going to be stored in the S3 bucket. You are calling the source of the S3 bucket to the CloudFront, right? You are using how to verify here. So go for the developer console, showcase him in the larger window, hit from the cache, hit from the CloudFront. Getting? So that is what you guys need to do, right? Clear? Any questions? Jiva, Pramod, Avinash, Banu, Mangesh. Any questions here? Right? So now here, that's all about your CloudFront. Yeah, that's all about your CloudFront. So we're entering into the, so till in the phase one, there are few extra topics need to be covered, which is not in there in our syllabus. One is with S3 static website. And second one is AWS backup services. And third one is AWS certification manager, certification manager to enable to the respective SSL certificate for your respective load balancer. Right? These are the three topics you need to cover to complete our phase one. These are the few additional topics which is not included in our syllabus, but these things are required for your respective crack your interview purpose. We'll keep aside this additional concept. Will focus on the phase two, which is very important as per the syllabus, right? So one thing, the phase two is completely overthinking the respective networking part. The first thing you guys are going to be discussing the VPC peering, right? VPN, customer gateway, transit gateway, direct connect, right? Direct connect, and then NLB, network load balances, and then web access firewall, right? Web access firewall over the application layer security, and then NACLs, right? And then NACLs here, and KMS, key management services. These topics are entering into the phase two. So completely your respective networking stuff along with the security stuff. This is phase two, networking and security. Once you have completed these topics here, these 10 topics will comes into the respective S3. S3 static, AWS backup, AWS Stack Manager, SSL again will comes into the additional concepts, and then the last is the project work. From here it will take 12 hours to complete the syllabus, so probably I will complete by this month end. So now entering into the phase two, the VPC, you need to good at the respective networking concept, right? Very good at with the networking concept here. So few things you guys need to, however I'm going to discuss, and also you guys need to rate according to it. So what you guys need to do here, so now here you guys need to entering into the VPC here. So VPC having the few very important concepts before entering into this one. You guys need to having the some basics about the network. One thing you guys need to learn about the OSI layer, and second thing you guys need to learn about the IP addresses, and you need to know about the private as well as public access, right? And the public subnets, whatever it is, and difference between TCP and UDP, right? And then VPC components. VPC components. Yes. So now here, OSA layer is only you're been using the layer 4 and the layer 7. Just as a, let's have a glance on it. Let's complete it the OSA layer. Right. So now here, what you guys need to do? IP addresses. What is IP address first? What does it do? What is IP first? One guy asked me, what is IP stands for? What is IP stands for, Liz? What does it do? Internet protocol, right? IP is for the internet protocol here. It has two versions actually. Internet protocol. It has two versions actually. One is with V4 and V6. V4 and V6. How many bits of IP address are there in V4? And how many bits of IP address are there in V6? 32. This is 128. So now here again this has been categorized into two types here, V4, V6. One is with public IP address and second one is private IP address here. Public IP address is going to be configured over the respective internet protocol, right? Over the respective internet protocol here. Whereas private IP address is going to be configured over the intranet within the LAN actually, right? Within the LAN actually. So now here you have an ranges of private as well as public IP address. You have been using the ranges of private as well as, right? You have a ranges of private as well as public IP address. Remember, this is an entry question again. The ranges of this private IP address here, you have been here for the respective classes. It has been differentiated with the help of classes here. In the IPv4, one is with class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. Class A starts from 0 to 127, and class B starts from 128 to, right, 128 to, in area. I asked you guys to go for it. 128 to 191. This is an entry question actually. And 192 to 223, which is a class B, class C here. And 224 to 239. And class E, 242 to 255. Right? This is how it's going to happen. Yes, look back. So now here, these are the classes you have in the IPv4. Class A, B, C is for LAN and WAN communications actually. A, B, C stands for A and B and C is for LAN and WAN. local area network and the wide area network here. Local area network and the wide area network here. Class D is for reserved for multicasting. Reserved for multicasting here. Right, reserved for multicasting here. And class E is for research and development. Class E for reserved for research and development. Reserved for research and development. Research and development here. So this is how it's going to be happen. Right? Research and development. This is how it's going to happen. Right? This is how it works. Right? Right? This is how it's going to happen. Right? This is how it's going to happen here. Am I clear on this? These are the classes. Now here in these classes you have one more thing called private as well as public IP address ranges. In this private ranges, we're going to have right, class A. Class A, we're going to have 10.0.0 to 255.10 dot 255 dot 255 dot 255. Class A 10 dot 255 dot 255 dot 255 here. And class B, right? And class B starts from 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. 16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. And class C, this is not going to be useful for your respective production setup. Class C, this is only for the local area network. Class C starts from here 192.168.0.02, 192.168.255.255, right? 255.255. This is how it's going to be happen. Right? This is how it's going to be happen here. So class A is from 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255, and class B is from 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. These things you guys need to remember. These two ranges you guys need to remember, as this is very important for your production setup. And class C only for your local area network, your system administrative team. If you are using your computers, it will. If you are using your laptops, if you are performing that, right? Those things will going to be really helpful for you, right? Those things will going to be really helpful for you. That's how it works, right? So now here, we need to understand about the very important concept here, BPC components. BPC components. like VPC components here. 5 components you guys are need to remember as per the interview or as per the needed. So the first, what is the purpose of VPC? Why VPC is required? Before VPC comes into the picture, right? Before VPC comes into the picture, how the cloud networking has been designed. Why should you require the VPC? Any idea? Why VPC is needed? Why VPC is needed?
Segregating the network across the region or on the particular availability zones.
Any other questions? Any other? Any other? Any other? All network under one roof. We can keep our server within our range to our comfort. What is this AWS? What is the this AWS? Whether it's a public cloud or it's a private cloud? It's a public, right? Public means anyone can able to access. Before entering into the VPC, what is the purpose of VPC is very important actually. This is a completely public cloud. That means everything is on shared environment. So as it's a multi-tenancy or it's a single tenancy here? As a multi-tenancy or it's a single tenancy here? Multi-tenancy. That means it's a shared hardware resources. One hardware will be there, it will have the multiple clients. Right, one hardware will be there, it will have the multiple clients here. In previously, if you're not using the VPC, in the previous era, if you are not using the VPC, let's say suppose in the same hardware you have an TCS and you have an IBM and you have an Infosys actually, and here you have an CTS. Before VPC comes into the picture, if the Infosys server got compromised, it will leads to effect in the other servers as well, because the affected servers will going to be consume the more bandwidth. Right, the affected servers is going to be consume the right. So now here, to avoid this kind of scenarios, even though Infosys servers got compromised or even though CTS servers got compromised, they should not going to be affect to others, right? Right. So they have introduced a concept called VPC, even though it's a shared environment, even though it's a multi-tenancy, right? They have introduced a culture called VPC, which is going to be help you to create an isolated network in the public cloud over the AWS. if even though one network, IBM network got compromised, even though one network calls having the huge bandwidth, utilizing the high throughput, it will not going to be affect to the other customers. They have bifurcated the network within the multi-tenancy, right? Within the multi-tenancy here, they have created the isolated environment, even though one system got compromised, right? Even though one system got compromised, they are going to be used for the isolated network. So now here, what is the purpose of EPC? It will help us to, it will help us to create a isolated network, right? Isolated network over the public cloud, right? It will create an isolated network over the public cloud. It will create an isolated network over the public cloud here. It will create an isolated network over the public cloud. Isolated network in the sense you will have a dedicated bandwidth. You will have your own router. You will have your own switches. You will have your own network, right? No others will going to be enter into your premises. So that's how it's going to be happen, right? So now we'll discuss about the components and the usage of the component by tomorrow, right? And where you guys are going to be discussing about the subnets, and where you guys are going to be discussing about the NSCLs, and where you guys are going to be discussing about the public as well as private subnets and the NAT gateway. All these areas we're going to be discussing, right? We'll stop it by today and we'll continue by tomorrow. Thank you.